Hi everyone, I'm back with another Diablo 4 video, and today I want to talk about the UI and in particular the status effects that are displayed in Diablo 4. I think this is a really cool design that I have chosen and something that just really makes you appreciate this attention to detail that the Diablo 4 team has put into the game, in my opinion. So what I'm talking about exactly is the UI design and especially the health globe. So as you can see here in the bottom left corner, this is your health bar. This is like the Diablo style health globe. It's like this orb that fills up or goes down, depending on how healthy you are. But in general, the UI design in Diablo 4 is very, very minimalistic, as you can see. There's not really like any numbers displayed, minus like the level and the potion charges and some cooldown values. There's like, basically no clutter involved. And in general, it's like all very neat and tidy. And they also have used this opportunity, for example, with the health globe to display certain effects, as you can see here already. So you see, for example, this dark red health globe right now in the bottom left corner. That is the health itself. And then you have this bright red. This is actually a special effect called Fortified that comes from the barbarian here in this party that buffs this rogue whose gameplay you see. And this Fortified Life is one of the status effects. It gives you like damage reduction up to like a certain value on this part of your life globe, so to say. So if you drop below this amount of life, then you can lose this Fortified Life, but the damage you take is reduced by that amount. Now, there are other status effects that are more impactful, I'd say, and you can see them here in action. So for example, they're fighting this elite pack, and you see that, for example, now the rogue is poisoned, and you see that the health globe turns green when they have this poison effect on them. Or another one is here right now with this kind of like lock around the health globe, which is, I believe, the injured status. So this is when you are below 35% life, you get like this little like surrounding lock around your health bar to indicate that you are injured. So this is kind of like, the moment when you need to spam your health potion button, for example. And there's also certain like, extra effects that can apply to you when you are injured. In this fight, you can also see another example of this barbarian getting the vulnerable debuff. You see this now, this is like this cracked, flashing health globe here. So this is another quite common debuff that you can either apply or have applied to you from monsters that increases damage taken. So this is also a quite like important combat mechanic in general. And it also gets like displayed with this like very flashy effect, so you know that you're in danger. Another quite important mechanic is the barrier. So you can see this here right now. This is the blue shade and this blue shield that's going over your health globe. This is, so to say, a shield that takes damage first before your health takes damage. So especially sorcerers have like a lot of mechanics that interact with barrier, but other classes can also use those with legendary powers and stuff like that. And we're definitely going to see builds probably based around these kind of barrier mechanics. So I'm quite happy to see this actually, because in Diablo 3 that was a huge problem with, especially wizards, but also other classes relying on shield mechanics that worked kind of similar a lot, but there was no indicator for it. And the technology has finally arrived. So this is pretty cool to see. And when I played this, it seemed to work like fairly intuitively. So essentially, the more like a percentage of your life was shielded with the barrier, the higher the barrier bar would go on your health globe. I know that one thing that people very often dislike, especially in ARPGs, is that when you have like, too many buffs and too many debuffs or so, and you can't really like read them or see them in the heat of combat, where, you need to mouse over them and then you can actually read the effect or something like that. And in general, this doesn't really seem to be that necessary in Diablo 4. So you do have this buff bar, so you can check them out. For example, you see here, there's 2 buffs on the bar right now on this sorcerer here. So one is the party buff, one is some cold passive buff or something like that. I don't know exactly which one, but generally you will know what you got in your build, I guess. And then you also have the debuffs that are, much more intuitively displayed, which I really like. So I felt when I was fighting enemies, I completely understood what was happening to my character at any moment. And this is a very valuable information. Obviously, there are tons more different debuffs in the game, especially when it comes to PvP and all the stuff that other players can apply to you, I guess. So we're probably gonna see, definitely some kind of like, big debuff bar in those cases. But for the most part, yeah, all of the like core mechanics are kind of like built into the UI directly, and that is really awesome. When I had a chat with the developers a while ago, they actually talked about this feature in particular, and it seems like this actually came as kind of like a result of this like console design, or like the console crossplay that Diablo 4 has, where they needed to make their UI as clean as possible. And for example, for couch co-op, when you have two different UIs on the same screen, there needs to be like as little clutter as possible. And this is kind of where all that came from, and that forced them to really make it, you know, as slick as possible. And it seems like this has really shown with like the development of the game now, that even for like a PC audience, for example, like myself, this seems like a very nice system, and I really enjoy it. Now, while I don't think that this concept is groundbreakingly new, I think it was really well done in Diablo 4 and something worth highlighting. And that's also already it for this video. So I want to like draw attention to this, hear your opinions about it. I think it's a really cool design, and there's like a lot of these like little details essentially in the game that go in a similar direction, with, you know, like a lot of thought put into like little things. And this is just one of those examples. In any case, hope you enjoyed this video here, and I'll see you guys next time.